Welcome back to Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh, and the guy sitting next to me is Gene Collier. So give us a call, 412-575-2600. We're going to be talking about the Steelers. And before we went to break, Gene, do you think that the PEDs are more prevalent? I mean, I know you don't see a lot of guys getting caught, but you see some. I think more than we know.
Well, I think the number of people doing it in the NFL is still considerable. I mean, just look at the size of the players. And not only the size of the players, but the speed of the players. I mean, people always think that PEDs are a benefit to make people bigger, but the other aspect of them is they allow people to work out harder. Even smaller players benefit from these. So the NFL's always kind of had a, not a cozy relationship with those, but kind of a winking relationship with PEDs. It's been a bigger issue in baseball, but when you see what happened this week with Marcus Gilbert, I mean, if you're surprised, shame on you.
I really think it, it probably benefits an average player more than an elite player. Obviously, it can help elite players, but I would see more average players. I could see more average players, below average, or just making the team guys wanting to do this because then they get paid.
Yeah, there's a lot of money at stake, and that's behind a lot of this, absolutely.
And I was mentioning yesterday, I was once told by a doctor that these companies are 3 years ahead of testing, so that's kind of why I think it goes on more than we're led to believe. Right. So, but I would be disappointed, and you hear a lot of people. I heard a lot of phone before we get to the calls. A lot of talk on the fan today, driving into work, and people calling and saying, why isn't the NFL more strict with PEDs? I think this is pretty strict compared to baseball. This is almost like a 40-game ban when you think about it. It's a month. There's only so many games in an NFL season compared to baseball is an 80 game, but this is still significant. If you're trying to compare the two, this would be essentially a 40-game ban.
Well, what both sports should do is first violation, out. You're out for a year.
First violation. Yeah, I think there needs to be something that's maybe a little more strict.
For good.
For good. So it's a two-strike policy for you.
It is.
Yeah. All right, let's go out to the phone lines, and we're going to go out to Bert in Bell Vernon. How you doing, Bert?
Guys, thanks. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to hear what you guys think about this thought. I've come to believe that while maybe the Steelers do not need Martavis Bryant to play their very best, I think Ben Roethlisberger needs Martavis Bryant to play his very best.
You know what? I didn't think of it that way, but I don't think I agree with you, Bert. I think the Steelers can still win without Martavis. He helps the team when he does want to play or does catch a ball. I don't know. Do you like his statement there?
It's an interesting question. Ben is at the stage of his career where he needs all the help he can get. And Martavis is a really good player, but he hasn't been a really good player this year, owing mostly to the fact that he didn't play all of last year. So, I guess I sort of half agree with that.
Yeah, he catches about, what, half the balls thrown to him. Is that a guy that can really help you? I know he can stretch the field and he's dangerous, but he's only dangerous basically 50% of the time.
Yeah, but he's, in his role, which is to run deep routes. He's not what you would call a possession receiver.
Yeah.
So 50% of his targets is actually pretty good for that kind of receiver.
And maybe to your point, Bert, they put Justin Hunter in there, and this is a fast guy that can stretch the field too, but he wasn't able to do it to the times that they put him in the game. All right, back up the phone lines. Let's go out to Brad in Duncansville. How you doing, Brad?
Good. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for calling, Brad.
I have my score for the Sunday's game for you and Gene, and a Penguin question for you and Gene.
Go.
34-20 Steelers in over Green Bay.
Picked it right on the number, Brad.
Huh?
I said you picked it right on the number.
And the Penguin question is, I just noticed about tonight's game that the Penguins are turning the puck over more, and I think they need to go out there and look for another center out there. What do you guys think?
Well, I think one thing, we'll answer the Penguins question first. One thing that's been wrong with the Penguins right now is consistency, finding the right line combination, finding the right people to put on the ice. finding people that are healthy, basically, Gene. That's been an issue with the Penguins right now. But it also, the other big issue right now is it's November. You know, they're 4 points out of first place in the Metro, but they're also 4 points out of last place. I don't see a team with Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang, Matt Murray, Phil Kessel, keep going, Jake Gensel, is not in jeopardy of making the playoffs.
No, I mean, I mean, that's not a question. I think, you know, all of these issues with the Penguins are common with almost every team at this stage of the season. This hockey season is just so long. Everybody goes through these issues. You know, the Penguins are not going to, you know, drop the puck every night and beat people 5-0 as much as, you know, that's the expectation around here. Just like the expectation for the Steelers is that they win 50-0 every week. I mean, it's unrealistic. Yeah,
I think come January, middle of January, February, you really start to see this team tinker with things and maybe get some things together. Look, it was a short off season for these guys, and I don't blame them for playing maybe not up to their capabilities right now.
Yeah, but if the question is, if the basic question is, do they need another, you know, third or fourth line center? Yeah, sure. You know, but you can't get everything you want.
No, you can't. And I think they can win a Stanley Cup with the team, with the players that they have right now. They're going to add some players, but I still think they're good with a third and a fourth line center as of right now. And now you see Jake Gensel could play center too, so who played center tonight in place of Evgeny Malkin, who did not play. All right, we're going to take one more phone call before we go to the break. We got Al up in the West End. How you doing, Al? What's up, buddy?
Hey, Richie. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Good. You too. Thanks.
Hey, Gene, let me ask you a question, because you've seen sports for many years and stuff. What makes a good, successful college program in football is consistency. They keep coaches, the staff together. You look at Boise State, you look at Florida State, Nebraska during the Tom Osborne days. You look at all those teams, even though teams struggled, Bobby Bowden always wide right. I'm going to say this.
Okay, thanks a lot, Al. He's talking about consistency. I don't know how he got cut off there.
It's kind of a chicken and egg thing. I mean, yeah, you do want to have consistency, but what allows consistency is winning. You got to get in there and win, and you know, and keep winning. So, yeah, it's nice to be consistent, but you know, you don't want to be a consistent loser.
Yeah, and I think right now that there needs to be just a change at Pitt, not with the head coach. You know, I think that he deserves to be here 3-4 years, just to 5, 6, 7 years to, you know, to see what he can do. I think you're right with the consistency there. I'm not ready to give up on this guy yet, but, you know, they need to start listening to fans with the uniforms. They need to, you know, somehow find some excitement around the team. Maybe let the media in more, do more things with the team. You know, because there really is no buzz with Pitt football right now, and that's not only because they're losing. It's a big part of it is because they're losing, but the other big part is I think they're just so isolated over there, and they close the doors, and you know they want to do their thing and keep everything hidden. I don't think that's such a great thing with trying to market a program like Pitt to try to get fans in Pittsburgh.
Well, that's an interesting point, Rich. I mean, when I was covering Pitt in the 80s, I guess. Locker rooms were open, and the media kind of knew the players and stuff like that. Now the players are really controlled, kind of shut off from the media. You know, that's not going to solve Pitt's problems. But really, if you're at a stage where you're always talking about the uniform, you know, that's not a good spot to be in. I like to see Pitt in the old uniforms, but you know, the way they look is not their problem.
No, and I totally agree with you. And I was just saying that I think Pitt doesn't listen to fans. You know, it took them how long when fans wanted the script to come back? You know, I think that's. You know, I think fans just get frustrating, and it deals with losing. Gene, that's the #1 priority with Pitt right now. But I think if they open their doors a little bit, because then they might get a little more promotion. They might get more airtime on KDKA and the other stations. And I think that's a major issue with this team right now, not creating any buzz because they're not really giving us anything to cover.
Well, that's true. That's what.
Or even anything to manufacture something to cover.
They say winning solves a lot of problems, and that's what they're not doing.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a break. Back with some more questions and some tweets coming up next. Stay right there.